I'm gonna tune up real quick.
Well, I started going to Landon School for Boys in 4th grade. If you don't know much about Landon School is a predominantly white, wealthy, all-boys school in Bethesda, Maryland. And when I started in 4th grade, I was the only black kid in the 4th grade, not just in my homeroom, but in the 4th grade. My name is Okori Johnson. I'm a cellist and a teacher, I guess, an academic, thinker, and someone who grew up in Washington, D.C. I am a looping, improvising, storytelling cellist. I play under the name OK Cello.
Yeah, the sirens. This is not a studio, so you're gonna get everything there is to hear. As a matter of fact, that siren might actually be a good lead-in to the song that I'm getting ready to play. This song is entitled Incredulous. I actually don't like to play this song, to be honest with you. I wrote it right around the time of the Charleston AME church massacre. I'm embarrassed to admit that I was incredulous. I was just in disbelief. I did not believe that in 2015, which is when that happened, that we were still having this phenomenon happen. In 2020, I'm kind of embarrassed that I was incredulous because I have every reason to believe that
I'm minding my business, please just leave me alone.
This country is capable of that kind of tragedy and horror.
I was born to a black family. I was born in a black neighborhood in Northeast. I went to Landon School for Boys from grade 4 through grade 12. It was definitely different. My mother is a speech pathologist and put a lot of effort into making sure that this accent was in my mouth by the time I went to school. And so, in all honesty, negotiating the basketball court across the street from my house was actually more work than negotiating Landon School. I learned how to do both well, but the reality is that I sounded familiar to a lot of the boys, and in particular the teachers at Landon School, so that was to my advantage. If you are not able to, through your familiarity, put white people at ease, the white world can be an amazingly predatory place, particularly for black boys. I think the white community can be very afraid of black boys, can have an unreasonable and an irrational fear of black boys. And if you're not necessarily prepared to negotiate that or to navigate that reality, I think white space can be incredibly dangerous for black boys.
The individuals involved in his murder took away a man with children who depended upon their daddy on a daily basis. My son is not the youngest. He is the oldest of his siblings. He is 15 years old.
There has been a decent amount of tragedy and trauma somehow that I've missed, that many of my friends and my family haven't. It's not because of any intrinsic qualities that I've had, the kind of experiences that I've had. A lot of us just got lucky.
So here's the part we haven't told you yet. Remember that privileged, predominantly white private school that Okori went to? I went to the same school. I mean, I was a grade behind Okori at Landon, but We rode the bus together and stayed in touch over the years, mostly through social media. So fast forward to this summer, when I'm down there reporting from Black Lives Matter Plaza, surrounded by tens of thousands of demonstrators demanding change, I knew that I wanted to support the social justice movement. But after the crowds went away, after the protests ended, what then? I'm embarrassed to admit, I didn't know what to do next. So that's when I decided to reach out to somebody who I thought could help guide me. And that's when I called Record.
Hey, man.
Hey,
How are you doing?
What's up, Corey?
Not too much, man. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. Doing very well. Doing very well.
Kind of poignant, uncomfortable, yet possibly oversimplistic question, but I will pose it to you anyway. What is it, Corey? What is it that white people should do to support this movement?
You know, I don't doubt the sincerity with which that question is asked. The idea that we as a society, that white people in general are going to find the magic additive that fixes things is fantasy. There will be some sacrifice. There will be some things that have to be given up. There are some advantages, there are some privileges, there are some things that are going to have to be returned and relinquished in some ways if the intention is sincere.
I'm almost hearing the answer that you're giving me is get off your ass and do something.
You're asking to do something for sure. And it's not about approval from your black friends, because if you have a black friend that says, "Oh no, Eric, you're the best. You haven't done anything ever to like deal with white supremacy and racism is not your work to deal with," is that black friend right? That's not it. Because of the fact that this is the information age, if you dig even just a little bit, you'll find a ton. I mean, there's just literally a ton of, there are a lot of white people in this space doing this work who are documenting their consciousness, who are documenting their experience, who are creating bodies of knowledge for white people to get involved. So there's that, and if you look for it, you'll find it.
Is the question faulty?
Is the question faulty? I just think
It's a young question. If we're going to address white supremacy and racism, it means that white people are going to have to talk to white people about this, because the black people who are animated and researched and informed are not going to be at your Thanksgiving table. And it's in those spaces where people are themselves, their authentic self, where they have their guards down, where they think because they're around like-minded people that people tell you who they are. And if we're going to change the world, we got to start by people changing who they are. Eric, man, I really applaud you for asking me to have this conversation. Take a cello out. Well, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to walk that back. I'm glad you asked me to have the conversation, but I think this is the work that needs to happen. I think you wanting to do the work is an important part of this. And while I'm glad that you're doing it, I'm not so sure that the goal should be that every white person that shows up to do this work gets a gold star and gets a pat on the back and gets all the attaboys and attagirls, right? Because at the end of the day, I just think it's your work to do. We're here, we've been doing it, we'll continue to do it. But it's just not our invention to uninvent.